Hey YouTube, it's Jen with Freedom Fighters on Spirited Saturdays, and this week we are talking about listening to your body's natural cues, physically, emotionally listening and being in tune with your body's natural cues. So I need to preface this a little bit by saying that the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video is stuff that is very personal to me. These are things that I have to remind myself that I am in the process of working on every day. So as I'm saying these things to you, know that I am also practicing them. I'm saying them to you because they are things that I've practiced in the past that have helped me. So I've learned from that and continue to try to implement these tools today. And lately it has been a little bit of a struggle emotionally. And so it's like even more so I need to tell myself and kind of drill it into my head sometimes. And making this video actually is really, really helpful. So I guess I'll just start with, alright, so okay, I personally, I have used food in a number of different ways, none of which had to do with hunger. I've used food to sedate myself and to numb myself and to transition from one setting to another. I've walked around day in, day out feeling like food needed to be with me all the time, and whether it be real food or thinking of food or looking at food or wandering around looking at food. And all of these things occur especially when there are far more pressing issues to be concerned with, and I don't want to deal with them. I used to have a really hard time connecting my desire for food to emotional problems or things that were lacking emotionally or things I didn't want to face. I used to think it was completely separate and that I was just defective and that I just really wanted to eat. I just really liked food. Like, there was no getting around that. And there was a total disconnect between that and my emotions. But what I'm learning is that it's all connected, and paying attention to the emotional cues will help directly. It will help the food because it will help the decisions that you make. The way you respond to your emotions will be different, and so you won't use food. Once you respond to those emotions accordingly, you'll feel the necessary things that you need to feel. And so inadvertently, you will probably end up feeling like you don't need food anymore. This might come over time. I mean, at first it might be that you deal with those emotions and you feel those feelings, and you still feel afterwards that you need food because food is such a self-soothing thing. And wow, you just went through this turmoil, of emotions, and so what do you do when you're, stressed out and crazy, but you turn to food. But like, over time, the practice of these things will eventually, I don't want to say eventually, that makes it sound very fantastical, but you're helping yourself by facing your emotions head on. And the step after that would be facing what comes after the emotions, like how you're dealing with the fact that you felt something at all. But this is all possible. I have experienced this, I'm telling you that. And sometimes it comes in waves, and sometimes I still feel like I need food to deal. But I do feel my feelings more these days, and I can tell you that when I do feel them, the outcome is always better than what happens after the food. So even though it's a darker tunnel to go through. So yeah. So, okay. So dealing with stress and anxiety of your actual issues can be very painful. And eating, while in the end might prove painful, or eating or not eating, abusing food, in the moment feels quite good. It feels either pleasurable or soothing or controlling. You've got control. You're not numbing. You're numbing what needs to be numbed in denying yourself food. whatever it is that surrounds food, gives you a quick fix, and that's highly preferable to feeling the actual things that are going on. So it's hard to talk yourself out of doing something that feels good or preferable or keeps you at bay in the moment, when it's either that or feeling really uncomfortable and really unsettled in the moment. But the thing about it is, we need to learn how to target these moments, these uncomfortable moments, with the according response. So we have to first identify what is happening. This can take a lot of patience. The first thing is that you need to accept that there will be patience involved, because it's not an automatic switch yet. You can't all of a sudden say, I'm feeling sad, I'm going to talk about my feelings, I'm going to journal, and I'm going to feel better. You might not feel better, but I'm going to get through it and express it. That's not like an automatic response that needs to be trained and learned. So you can start by just telling yourself, I'm feeling stressed out. So, okay, say there's something going on that you feel like you need control over. And instead of dealing with this problem or not even knowing that you're dealing with this problem, but if you say, or you restrict and you count calories, and you're in like a really messy situation and you find yourself whipping out your calculator and counting all the calories you've eaten so far today, what you can do is, in that very moment, this is not too hard. You can apply that same mentality, that same like needing to organize yourself, needing to get back control. You can apply it to the feeling that's going on. So even if it's in that list making mentality, even if you do it with numbers in some way, if you need to apply numbers to it, I don't even know how you would do that, but I don't know. But you can, if you need to be systematic, you can creatively come up with a systematic approach to dealing with the problem at hand. This is just a suggestion. I haven't really thought out the details of this, but it's occurring to me now that you can be equally systematic in terms of food and in terms of your issue. And that might appease you for the moment. That's not the end spot you want to get to necessarily, but it could get you through a rough moment. So the other thing is, okay, so, sorry. Okay, sorry. Alright, the other thing is, if you feel, okay, no, I don't know which order to go in here. Alright, we want to talk about hunger, fullness, something that very closely ties into hunger, fullness, daily rhythm, would be sleep. It's very important that that we all, no matter what we deal with, if we deal with binging at night or binging and purging, or we don't, okay, here, this is me getting tired. This is me having to take my own advice and probably go to sleep after I make this video. But this is where I read, okay? So if you're tired, this is what I wrote. If you're tired, you need to sleep. If you binge and purge at night, once you get tired at night, before you start binging, try to lie down. My problem has been accepting that the day will come to an end and feeling like I need to do this before the day is over. I have a hard time accepting transition from today to tomorrow. I have a hard time knowing that the day will come to a close. And going to sleep is the hardest part, because that's when I have to officially accept the perceived wrongdoings of the day and sit with only that. Or I have to try to not do something that I want to do. So going to sleep can be very significant and meaningful and hard and anxiety making, because you're just alone with your feelings. But the beauty about sleep is that it really is, it gives you endless chances to engage in it, to do it. Every night it is there for you as a reprieve. You if you can manage to shift your focus away from the food and ask yourself, what am I tired right now? Because if I'm tired, do I really want to go and have a binge? Because that's going to make me feel like such crap in the morning, like having to project and say, wouldn't my body thank me? Wouldn't my body be so just much more relieved if I took this tiredness, lied down? It's the getting from the standing to the lying down position, which is often the hardest, or the sitting to the lying down. If you just make yourself go into that in that horizontal position, it's not as bad. It's just the getting there. Most of it is the getting there, for me anyway. So the day will come to an end, and any imperfection, any perceived flaw that's happened today, you can wash it away. So, and any urges also will be nicely washed away. Maybe you'll deal with them in your dreams, which will prove much more effective. The other thing is, if you restrict, when I restricted, I used to take a sleeping medication, and I would manipulate that by taking it so that I didn't get hungry. I hope, now here's what, I hope that didn't come off as like a tip or something, but I'm saying it because it's the worst thing you can do. And obviously, saying that is not going to make people just want to change it. But it's so important to explore that if you do something like that, if you try to manipulate your sleep rhythms like that, and you try to force yourself to go to bed hungry, whether you take a medication or not, it's so important to try to explore why you feel the need to exert that kind of control. And just think about, what does my body actually want right now? I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you try to manipulate your sleep cycle, that will get you into trouble. And so that can be a savvy thing to do for an eating disordered person. Hunger, fullness, sleep, it all kind of, it can get so distorted and you can get thrown off. But just remember that the more you manipulate your sleep cycle, the more your hunger cues will get thrown off, and the further into the eating disorder you will spiral. Sometimes then it will become less and less in your control, even when you thought you had this control over it. And the last thing I want to say is just try and stay aware that, by choosing things that are unnatural for your body, and not honoring certain natural patterns, which, by the way, if these patterns are messed up because of eating disorder ways, they will get back to normal with practice over time. That's not really what I'm addressing here. I can appreciate that patterns can be screwed up, but I'm talking about if you continue to make choices knowing, that the body is taking the brunt of it. Guilt aside, I don't want to do a guilt fest, but just try and practice every day some gratitude for what your body is doing for you. It's trying to do everything it can to keep you healthy in spite of all the things that we do to it. And I actually think that's kind of beautiful. I think that we need to, in our most willful states, in our most unhealthful states even, we need to have some gratitude for our bodies and our emotions, in that they keep giving us cues. And they want us to survive, and they will fight for us. And just take care of us as best as they can. So, try and keep that in mind. If nothing else, try to, have some gratitude each day for that. And I think that's probably it. That's, don't punish yourselves for feeling bad. That's kind of unrelated. You're allowed to, I just want to say real quick, you're allowed to feel good about the good things and also take responsibility for the bad things. But that has nothing to do with sleep or hunger. But anyway, that's it. That is my spiel, and I hope everybody has a great day, and take care. Bye.